Hello, ladies. Welcome back to another podcast. It's been a while since we've done one. Today we're going to talk about knowing what to do, but not actually doing it. And I've been a massive culprit of this for the last probably 6, maybe 8 weeks, with a holiday in the middle. So I'll just talk about like what I've kind of struggled with over the last like few weeks and being like completely open and honest about it. And basically, what I've been struggling is actually just keeping up with the routine. And I've become really bored of my gym environment. And because I've been going there for like 3 years, I give myself workout plans that change every 8 weeks. I think it's just a new gym environment that I needed, which I've now got a new gym, which has made the whole situation a lot better. But eating wise and nutrition, that has gone like out the window a little bit. So um I'm very good at kind of like having like a meal plan, planning my meals and prepping where I can and having that structure around food, so I kind of know what's coming and know what I'm having. So, that's kind of to maintain my weight so I don't put all the 2 stone that I've lost back on. But recently what I've been doing is actually I've been creeping off to Tesco in my lunch break, and I've been buying the cornflake brownies. There's two in a pack, and they're bloody delicious. But I eat both the brownies at lunch, and then I do feel a bit guilty. And I don't advise anyone to do this, but I skip lunch, not every day, but it has been quite more recently than I have ever done, because I'm like, oh my God, I've had that so much sugar. I felt a little bit guilty. I was like, no, okay, I won't have lunch then, because I was thinking numbers. So I was thinking calories that come in my head, which isn't always, it's good to kind of know what your allowance is and know what's coming into your body, but also think about like the goodness of the food. So if I have my lunch at the same time, or should have had my lunch at the same time, I knew that by thinking, well, even if I ate the two cornflake brownies, I should have just had my lunch as well, because that's got the protein in, minerals, vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, all the healthy fats and stuff. So it's got all the goodness in to kind of keep me functioning. So I know that exactly what to do in my head, but I've just been eating these brownies instead. And now I'm finding myself that I'm actually on this a bit of like a sugar cycle, I'm going to call it. So what I'm finding and what I've noticed is that I'm eating the cornflake brownies because it's a bit of a quick fix. I'm like, oh, I love it. I've got such a sweet tooth as well. So I'm like, right, fab, I'm gonna have that. And then obviously I've sent my like sugar levels sky high, but then they're gonna come crashing down again because I haven't balanced it out with like a nutritious lunch. So I've come back down to that craving, and then I'm just having that sugar kick again. So quick fix, another sugar. So I'm basically going up and down, up and down, up and down. So that is the sugar cycle I am stuck in at the moment. And I am trying to refocus my brain to get out of that cycle.
Oh, bless you. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing that. And being so broadly honest. And yeah, and first off, it's great that you've acknowledged it because you know that you don't want this to be your norm. Second off, um, recognizing of how it makes you feel is a big part of it. So there's a few things that is happening here. Um, Mentally, we may have been too deprived before. So when you've spoken about meal plans and things like that, and you're quoting that as good, this is where many of the females get to a point where they've maybe had a coach before, or or they've done their own meal plans, or they've calorie counted. Yeah, great, they lose all this weight, fantastic. But sustainability and enjoyment and having a good relationship towards food doesn't come from meal plans or rigidness. It comes from trial and error. It comes from finding out information about what works for you and feedback from your own body. And if you disregard that feedback from your own body, then you're not listening to what your body is telling you. So you're going to keep banging your head on a brick wall and going round and round on these cycles. So I've definitely been there 100%, done that, absolutely. And it's about your journey, and this is part of your journey, Kimberly. You're very, in the early stages, you've lost your weight and you are now looking to maintain but also be inclusive of all the things that you want to enjoy, pairing that with having a restrictive mindset. So you've spoken before about you've had inclusivity with going out with meals with families, and you've managed to navigate that really well, but that's probably been, you've idolized that flexible day. That's going to be your only flexible day that week. So that's not going to be detrimental to your, your sustainability if you're 6 days on a rough guidance plan of a maintenance or under, and just focusing on that one flexible day. But it's when you want to start having flexible intuitive days all across the week, because you've been on holiday, you've got a holiday coming up, and you actually know that you can't be in your rigid thing because the variables are changing. So you don't know where your next meal might be, you don't know what you're doing tomorrow, this afternoon, so it all gets a little bit flaky and you're like, whoa, and you just throw the towel and go back to old habits, which is absolutely okay. The things what you talk about of the cravings, so this is more of a glycogen spike in terms of when we get glycogen in a fast release, we get dopamine hits. You can get this from sex, cuddles, stroking a dog. The oxytocin in your body is like, yes, I want more, I want more. And because we're not fabricating that with the quality of carbs, fats, fiber and things like that, that's where the dopamine here takes over. Now, with the 3 parts of the brain, you're sitting in the animal instinct part of the brain, which is what people may refer to as the inner chimp. They will refer to that, and it's like, holy shit, that was great, I'll have a bit more of that. You are in the computer brain thinking about numbers and, oh my god, I know I've got to have calories, I don't want to be that person that I was before, I'm going to restrict. Inner chimp's like, whoa, we're not restricting here. So you're having this little battle with yourself, and then because you think, right, I'm going to restrict, the chimp goes, right, I'm going to eat that second one because I know she's not going to give me any food later because she's planning on restricting. So across the board, your calories are out the window because you're over consuming on foods that are not actually fulfilling you. So despite eating those 2 brownies in the evening, your body is going to be hungry because it's got no nutrition. So it's very similar. If you open for breakfast and have, let's say, Cheerios, it's got calories, it's got the tiniest bit of nutrition, but it's got nothing that's gonna give you a successful amount of energy for the job or day or brain capacity that you use 2 hours later, because you've also had a bit of a glycogen spike probably from it. You're a bit hungry again 2 hours later. And then people find if they have a high protein breakfast in the morning, like eggs, bacon, and something else, they're like, oh, I'm really full, I can go for a longer period of time. So it's finding out what works best for you. And I think that trying to come away from the restrictive part. So mentally, emotionally, you need to find out where you're at this point. You need to find out what your want is. So when I went through this part of my journey, I really dig deeper, finding about what my want is. Okay, we can't be in a calorie deficit 365 days of a year. If you do want to have more inclusivity with food, and that means adding on a few more pounds and being okay with that, and actually saying, it's okay, I'm going to take ownership of this, and I know I can switch it on if I need to, and having a relaxed approach, you will probably get further because your brain isn't going to be worried about restrictiveness. Whereas if you go, right, okay, I'm stopping this, I'm not doing this anymore, no more brownies, I'm not going to buy them again, I'm not going to go down the aisle, whatever, sooner or later, when an emotional impact comes, you're going to go, fuck it, I need those brownies. And you're going to go right to them and probably have 4 because you've restricted that much. So you're going to over consume them. So, there's many ways that you can incorporate it. You can buy the brownies, you can segment them off into 6 pieces and have a little bit each day, or you can incorporate the brownies and pair it with a sustainable meal. So, right, okay, before I go down to Tesco and I know I want the brownies, I'm going to have them, but I'm going to have a chicken salad first. So I am full and the brownie is just a little bit of a top up. So then you're probably not going to eat 2 brownies after that because you have actually got fullness and satisfaction. Also, as well, making sure that you're asking yourself, why am I eating this food? Is it because I'm worried, I'm sad, I'm lonely, or what is that feeling that you're trying to avoid and fill with satisfaction from that brownie? So there's many different ways, and for many many people listening, there's be so many avenues that you can pick on to what I've said. You might be like, no, that's not me, or yes, that is me, and go down there. And each individual is bespoke. That's why the coaching that I do, or we do, is where we can transition into the next level. Because if not, you're always going to come back to this abusive, self-critic, self-sabotage, feel like rubbish. It's there's many different ways. So in terms of, in a bit of a rut, when you was talking about the gym, it's obviously that things go hand in hand. So if you were feeling a bit crappy about the gym, obviously, meals can end up not being the choice that you want them to be. Whereas when you start going to the gym, you think, I'm doing all this work, I need to make sure my eating habits fuel the workouts that I want. That being said, you might say it might be, some people go in the other direction. They go, oh, I'm doing all this work, I deserve a treat. Well, that's where again food is, it's how you label it. That can be from your upbringing, that can be from people around you, it might be when your childhood, how did you reward yourself. So one of the things that I work on with ladies is how they're going to reward themselves this week that isn't food. Okay, because a lot of time, when you're younger, you might have gone to McDonald's on a Friday, or if you're celebrating something, well done, you won the race, let's go get a McDonald's. It's a treat with food. So how else can you reward yourself with food? Mine is literally just getting to bed early. Like, that is a reward. Moving house, being a mom, doing all these things, like going to bed, that's
reward. Your treat.
Yeah, exactly. But it changes. And I think just really like speaking to someone and finding out the why will then catapult you moving forward. And as always, anyone listening to this, and if you're my lady, then just reach out to me so we can talk about it. So yeah, I hope that helps, Kimberly, because it's not nice. I've been there many a time.
Yeah, no, it really is helpful, and it goes the same with, like, anyone listening. Like, no one's perfect. Like, even though like we're mentor and coaches and we've been there, done that, we still have like our ruts that we get stuck in. And anyone else on the journey, that's whether that's just, it could be anything. It's making sure that you're self-aware and kind of pinpointing, like you said, that why, and kind of pulling yourself back and kind of thinking, right, okay, like for me, for example, I know exactly where to start, and I just need to kind of do it. Because if I don't pull myself back and be more and not even self-aware about it, then I just know that I'm going to put all my hard work that I've done to lose my 2 stone that I have done and maintained it off, it's just going to go in the bin if I don't, if I don't kind of recognize and be self-aware of what rut I'm in. Okay, I think I need to do something about it. Let's try different things.
That's where, again, though, you're not going to put that weight back on. And I think that's a real big scare factor for you, of thinking that you're not going to let yourself go down that route. But I do think that you do need to take time after a harsh weight loss phase in popping up a few pound, maybe buy a few pairs of jeans that are a little bit bigger, and allow that, and then you will get the motivation to come back. Like when you've had a big transformation of fat loss, you know, you are going to see these pounds pop up and down. And I think that one of the ladies that I do coach at the minute, she's had a very similar story. And once we get to happiness, remove the scales, because if you're continuously weighing yourself, you're always going to be putting on and putting off these 2 pound, unless you know, like, I can look at scales very differently to other people. I don't use scales, but if I was, I can look at them very differently to a general population person, because I've got a lot of knowledge, statistics, background. I've done a lot of research. So I look at these numbers as data, and so much different in terms of where my cycle is, in terms of how I slept, water retention, in terms of how, you know, am I feeling stressed? What's the variables? How much REM sleep did I get? How much, you know, am I dehydrated? You know, all these things. What workouts did I do? Did I train lower? Did all these things have variables on the scale weight? And also, you know, like progress pictures and things like that. You know, genuinely, if you are feeling a little, especially in the summer, sometimes I was eating exactly, you know, same as whatever, but because it was so hot, my body was expanding overnight, because I was just literally holding on to that much water retention, because the room was just boiling. We live in a new build, and oh my God, the insulation in these houses is ridiculous, and we're like sweating, body's just expanding. If I had probably put on about 7 pound if I tread on the scales. But if you don't look at it with knowledge, with education, or speaking to your coach, you're going to send yourself in a real traumatic place with the scales. So going back to the lady that, you know, has found happiness, remove the scales, because if you keep bringing the scales out, whenever you know that you've ate 3 brownies the day before, and you step on the scales tomorrow and you go, yeah, there, I told you, you put 5 pound on. Why did you do that? It's more inner critic after self-sabotage. You know, that's not going to make you transition into not eating it. If anything, you're going to eat double and go into sod it mode. I know I'm not worthy. I was always fat and ugly. Why me? I'm blah, blah, blah. And you go down that spiral. That's not going to help anyone. So we need to take our head out the scales cloud and just be like, right, I'm living life. What have I got in life that's good? Right, okay, I'm doing this. Can I walk a bit more? Probably yes. Get out walking. Can I, you know, can I maybe cut back a little bit? You know, maybe just make sure I just have 1 and not 2. That'd be a great start. And just little things, instead of beating yourself up with so much negativity.
We've got to be kind to ourselves, haven't we? We've got to be kind to ourselves. Our body is kind to us to keep us alive and kicking. So we've got to be kind to it back.
Absolutely. 100%. And I think as well, it's just important. This is a growth learning phase. If anyone's going through similar, you're just going to grow. You're going to learn. You know, you're going to get to know your body, what it likes. You know, it's a new phase, and then you'll go into it. And I think timing, like, it's getting a bit colder now. We're sticking our jumpers on, like, you know, it's cozy on the evening. We're gonna start getting some hearty meals. I think that like slow cookers and things are fantastic, fill you up, you know, so start getting a little bit, you know, more creative. Everyone's pretty much sick of salads now, so get creative with like vegetables and, you know,
a nice hearty soup.
Yeah, things like that. So yeah, I hope that's helped everyone, and we'll discuss more. And if anyone's got any questions, we can catch up in the next one.
All right, thanks guys.